I have probably started this video 1 million times at this point, and it's really hard to put into words what a big transformation is in store for us. But I think it's time that we make like a really big change, and that change is that I don't want to be vegan anymore. And it's really weird because I've been vegan for almost a decade, but I've just been doing so much thinking, and I've been craving animal products so much for honestly the last 10 months. That's like how hard of a decision this has been for me to make this change, because I just thought I was going to be vegan forever, and then I just kept getting this like cravings for eggs or cravings for chicken or cravings for steak. And I don't know if it's because I'm postpartum and I'm just like nursing my son so much, or growing the baby, or now also being more connected to farmers or having our own land and wanting to live as closely to the land as we can and be fully self-sufficient. But all of these different factors together, I think it's like finally time. And I haven't honestly eaten anything yet. I haven't eaten an egg. I haven't eaten any meat. But I just wanted to like make this video to kind of like update you on how it's been going, because I don't know, it felt like the thing to do. I didn't want to like just eat an egg and have you keep thinking that we're eating fully plant-based. And I know for some of you, you're like, I don't even care what you eat. That's not like why I'm here. But I think there are people like in this amazing community that we have that are here because we're vegan and have been with us probably since the beginning days, when like our handle was actually plant-based traveler before we were Wildly Roam. Like we came into this being like, we are an alternative travel experience that like doesn't focus on meat, it focuses on plants. And that was just such a big, special chapter in our life. And so it's really weird to be closing that. And I know it might be kind of hard for some people to hear. I know for me, it was really hard, especially this first like half of me, the first 5 years of me being vegan, when people would say they aren't vegan anymore. It was like painful. I was like, oh my gosh, come on. Like they must not be eating the right way. They must not be like, you know, taking the right supplements. And if they tried harder, they could make it work, whatever. And then the last 5 years, I've really like let go of all of them. Like everybody should just do what they want to do. Everybody's different and life is complicated and everyone's doing the best they can. So like, who am I to judge how people are eating? But I think this like morality that in this mindset that I've had around food has like made me be judging honestly myself as I started craving all these different foods. And that's been a very weird journey for me the last 10 months, especially like raising my child. I want to make sure that like I'm doing everything I can for him. And that's not to say that you can't raise healthy vegan kids. I'm sure like people can make it work. But for me, if I was craving all these foods, and I was thinking about how we wanted to raise Max, I just realized that it's like this chapter of our life is come to an end. And yeah, I think the thing is, I have to like be authentic to how I'm feeling. And right now, this is really like what I'm feeling. Like I need this. And I remember I like reached out to a few vegan friends asking for their input on like all this different stuff. And I was thinking, I was just like hoping that somebody's message would be like, make me like, no, like you should keep going with the way that you've always thought for the last decade, and you should keep running down this path. But there is part of me that's like, this isn't right for me anymore. And it's weird because it's become part of my identity. And I think that that's part of it. I think becoming a mother like was such a massive shift in my identity. And then my brain changed or something. And now I feel this need to just try to live as much as we can off the land. Potentially Lou might get into hunting on our land. Like we have a really large deer population here, and maybe that would be something that we could have to supplement like a mainly plant-based diet. We want to get chickens soon, and then we could eat eggs from chickens. And gosh, I'm like, my heart is racing, honestly. It's like hard because I'm not trying to, like, I honestly, like, I just don't want to have any part in, like, any moral high ground. I just want to, like, create a homestead here and live as a family. But yeah, so now I think that's our plan. We're gonna have some eggs. Maybe Lou will get into like fly fishing or something like that. We could have some fish, maybe wild game. We also have friends who like raised goats and like they killed the goat at their land and like did it in a very like, I mean, it's hard. I feel like my words are gonna get twisted. But it's like if somebody we know raised an animal and killed the animal and butchered the animal, I think I would be open to that. I did like watch some butchering videos the last few days to really like kind of wrap my head around it, and it's a lot. There's no two ways about it. I feel like our culture is like very removed from death and from killing and from slaughtering animals, but most people just can go to the grocery store and eat that food. But I think that they would be very like confronted if they saw a video of butchering. And I'm like, if I'm going to eat an animal, I would like to be able to like witness its death and make that like a very sacred experience. But yeah, so for right now, I think that's our plan, is just to get chickens so that we can have some eggs, potentially raise chickens to eat chickens, potentially hunt. There's like turkey and deer up here, maybe fishing. And then down the road, I'm kind of open to how it all evolves. Yeah. All right, I brought Lou in because you're also making this change. And I feel like I definitely like am the catalyst to ending the veganism. So
yeah,
I'd like love to hear what you think too.
That's also because like you're our cook.
That is true.
You know, I feel like I like don't take time to like cook much lately.
No, you don't cook really at all.
Yeah.
And it's also like I also am the one who like grew a baby and am still nursing like a massive child. So I feel like I feel more depleted than you feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. What do you think about it all?
I mean, I think for me, it's not really about like feeling depleted. I feel like pretty good how I am. It's more just like I would like our homestead to like actually be like off-grid self-sufficient as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And I think like I don't want to say it's impossible to do that without animals, because I think like it's definitely possible, and it's substantially more possible in a tropical climate.
Yeah.
It's just like when I look at the timeline, it feels like it'll take like 15 to 20 years to get there without animals.
Yeah.
And I think like with like if we have chickens and like if I get into hunting and fishing and stuff like that, we're like 2 years away.
Yeah, I think it's like a fat source as like a vegan on a homestead, like on a tropical location. Like you can have coconuts and have like an avocado, and here we can't do that. Like we were thinking like maybe we would build this like massive winter greenhouse, and it's like maybe we will down the road, because that would be really special to like still get to eat avocado. But it's just so long down the road. And also just like I've like been trying to like do research on like kid veganism. I just don't know how much like I should like get into like the actual nuts and bolts of like why I made this decision, because it's also, I don't want anybody to think that like I'm saying that you can't raise a kid vegan. I just like, for me, I just feel like eggs will like supplement both my diet and also Max's diet, like a lot. And we've talked too about how we like want to potentially, I think at least now, like stay plant-based outside of our home, like, you know?
Yeah. I think like for me, kind of the tipping point, at least like in terms of like how I work my brain around it, is just like individual situations where it's like hard to like stick to a rigid ideology. Like for example, with like work gear, it's like I keep trying to buy synthetic like clothing for like different jobs.
Yeah.
Like I bought like synthetic gloves, like welding gloves. I bought synthetic boots, and it's like they always just break right away.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, well, now I'm going to throw that away and buy a new pair. Yeah. And then I bought like a pair of like leather welding gloves, and like they're still kicking. I bought like leather work boots, and there's, you know, like there's just some things where it's like I like eating vegan like 99% of the time, and I feel like I'm going to continue doing that. It's just like there's that 1% of the time where it's like I don't want to be stuck in this like rigid group thing. Just for like those situations, you know, like I feel like we just have a ton of deer running around.
Yeah.
And like But on the other hand, like watching the butchering videos and stuff like that, it's like, it's a huge change, and like, I don't really know. It's so hard to like know like how things will like
evolve for us. That's the thing too. It's like we also like haven't done anything yet. Like I haven't even eaten the egg to see if like, oh, I feel better. Oh, I feel worse. Oh, like I don't like this. Like we haven't had a chicken that we raised on our land and been like, okay, it's time to eat our chicken. Can I emotionally even do that? But I think it's more just like the space to explore and the space to like see what our land, how we can live off our land.
Yeah, I think it's like, I enjoy the idea of like not being like stuck in a box. You know, like I think veganism served us incredibly well.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like just learning about all sorts of different stuff, and I don't want to like throw that all out.
And we've also done this for a decade. And it feels like the right time, especially with our son growing, to like create a new story for our family.
Yeah, I think like for me, the only part that like really excites me is the idea of like getting this property like for real, off-grid, self-sufficient as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm just open to like any way to do that now, whereas before I wasn't. I was like, well, just wait like for our walnut trees to grow.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's a really long time to wait.
We haven't even planted walnut trees.
Yeah, because there's so many other things to do.
Whereas like we could have eggs this winter.
Yeah.
You know, from like our own chickens.
And I feel like that's like a really special experience. And I'm excited to have animals up here. You know, I feel like having Freya has been like the most special experience for us to be like close to an animal. And this is like that in a different sense.
Yeah, because you eat them.
Oh. I know, it sounds bad. It's also complicated to like feed Freya meat.
I mean, Freya is like a
meat machine.
Straight carnivore.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, I feel like there's just no like clean, easy way to explain it, and
you can like talk yourself in circles.
You really can. I think it's just like about doing what you feel is right, and if you want to do this, let's do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay. I support you.
Ooh.